The suitcase. The night before our departure, the doorbell rang. Our neighbor, Bolchki, a member of the tenants committee, was standing at the door. Please, are you traveling through Vienna? Yes. By car. By car. Could you do me a very, very big favor? Please. My cousin lives in Vienna. She's an old, peculiar woman who lives alone. Last year, when we visited her, she lent us an old suitcase. And now she wants it back. Here, this is what she writes in her letter. I terribly miss the suitcase. Would you do me the great favor of returning it to her? Here's her address. She lives on Favoritengasse, right in the middle of the city. Sure, just bring it over. It was an old, battered vulcanized fiber suitcase. We tossed a few shoes inside and put it in the car. We only had 2 days in Vienna. Of course, there wasn't time for the Kunsthistorisches Museum again. Nor for Schönbrunn. For anything. And we still had to find that old lady on Favoritengasse. You know, I don't understand why someone would want to have a shabby, worn-out piece of junk like this returned. Unless there's a diamond hidden in the handle, my husband said. My God, what if there is? This conversation took place on the evening of our arrival in Vienna, in our hotel room. We stared at each other in horror. We are such fools. Careless. Insane. Who is this Bolchki? We've lived in the same building with him for years and have exchanged maybe 10 sentences in total. He's a member of the tenants committee. So what? What made him think of ringing our doorbell late at night? Why did he choose us to carry this suitcase? Why was this piece of junk so important? And in any case, we shouldn't have taken a stranger's suitcase across the Hungarian border. What if something is hidden in the handle? Under the lining of the suitcase? Securities. Jewelry. Drugs. A secret letter. A map. A spy report. And who is this woman we're supposed to hand it over to? What do we have to do with this? There could be heroin in the handle. We've seen films like this before. And when we enter the apartment on Favoritengasse, Interpol is on our heels. Or, just as terrible, we might be serving some horrifying cause. We have to check the suitcase, I said. I don't go through other people's belongings, my husband said. At most, we'll take the suitcase back to Pest. Sure, back and forth across borders. It might even explode, I said. It won't explode. Do you think this is a straightforward and honest thing to do? How should I know? We threw the shoes out of the suitcase. We shook it, felt it, held it up to the light. It was a suitcase. An old, shabby, worthless suitcase. Give me a razor blade. I lifted the lining in one spot and reached inside. Nothing. I cut further. You're going to ruin it, my husband said. But by now, he was also shaking the suitcase, checking if anything would fall out of the lining. By morning, we had hacked the entire thing into pieces. We sliced open the handle like a buttered roll. We tore apart every seam, every glued section. The suitcase was completely empty. This was a big mistake, my husband said, looking at the wreckage. And what if there was a secret message on the lining? Written in invisible ink? I insisted, still excited. We can't deliver the suitcase in this condition. No, we couldn't. We took the wreck with us and, after going from store to store, we found a suitcase of the same color and size. It was shabby, cheap, but the purchase significantly dented our budget, which for Hungarian tourists was already meager. It didn't matter anymore. Whoever this Bolchki is, one shouldn't be on bad terms with the tenants committee. We would deliver a suitcase. A gray apartment building. A dark stairwell. Spiral stairs. Third floor. It was dusk, and a light rain was falling. The weather and setting were straight out of a crime novel. We found Frau Engelbert's name on the doorplate. Silently and with some anxiety, we climbed the million steps. The building was so unfriendly and deserted that we felt it had been very wise to replace the mysterious suitcase. On the second floor landing, another thought crossed our minds. If this Frau Engelbert is expecting that suitcase, then this one, which is very conspicuously new and nice, will stand out. So, we did what any self-respecting Swedish hippie would do with brand new jeans. We began rubbing the suitcase against the stone floor and walls of the stairwell, scratching it in several places with our nails to give it a slightly worn appearance. We rang the doorbell. No answer. We rang again, for a long time. No answer. Finally, after the 5th or 10th ring, someone inside seemed to screech, so forth. A quarter of an hour later, the door opened, and Frau Engelbert appeared. She was wearing a long, faded dressing gown, her face covered in cream, and her hair in curlers. She looked at least 100 years old. She was sweaty and had a cold. We've come from Budapest. Herr Bolchki. I can't accept guests. I don't have any rooms to rent. I have the flat U. My cousin could have let me know in advance if he was sending guests. Please, there's been a mistake, we're not. We just brought this suitcase. What do you want with that suitcase? Mr. Bolchki asked us to bring it back to you because he's very attached to it. What's attached to my heart? Ist ganz verrückt. Go ahead and speak Hungarian. I'm from Pest. Yes, I was married here, 5 years ago now. What? How is he insulting me, that fool? Who asked for the suitcase back? Me. For what? I told them when they took it to throw it away. Who keeps such junk? My sister-in-law. She wouldn't throw away a used matchstick. She's so stingy she begrudges spitting out the pit from a plum. Achoo. Excuse me, but I have a fever too. We're the ones who should apologize. Really, but still, we saw the letter with our own eyes. You wrote that, I terribly miss the suitcase. Me. That I miss it. Oh, grosser Gott. They can't read. I wrote that I'm homesick, and I terribly miss the suit square, the square, you know, the one near the park. We used to live there. Achoo. Please forgive me, but I need to lie down. And she slammed the door in our faces. We spent the whole evening carrying that miserable, dirty, worn-out suitcase. We walked with it around the ring in Kärntnerstrasse. By then, we couldn't bring ourselves to throw it away. 90 shillings, people. We just hoped we didn't catch Frau Engelbert's cold. We really need to stop watching so many crime shows on TV.